But do you think New Hampshire can meaningfully change the conversation at all, or will the overarching view still remain that Trump could lead the presidential race, especially internally within the GOP?
You know, I think nobody wants a one-sided contest. So I think that the media will certainly make a big deal out of Nikki Haley's challenge in New Hampshire. But I have to tell you, as an analyst looking at data, I think it's a done deal that Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee.
And the next question is on China. We are sitting here in Asia, scratching our heads, wondering about if indeed a Trump re-election is a reality, then what that means for China and how closely China must be watching these developments in terms of, just that whole talk about China hitting peak pessimism. There's reason enough for a rebound, but would that really be the case this year?
Listen, that has nothing to do with politics in my view, and I'm the politics guy in finance, right? I mean, I think it's all about what is China going to do in terms of stimulus, both monetary policy and fiscal, and they've clearly dragged their feet on that. On Monday, the PBOC refused to cut interest rates by 25 basis points, so why would anybody get really that excited about Chinese
Trump coming back, you think, would have no bearing on China, the China isolation narrative, no?
So I think that Chinese assets are already beaten down enough, if you will. Now, Trump, to your point, he has stated that he wants to effectively end all trade with China within, I think, by the end of the decade or something like that. I didn't pay too close attention to that policy platform because it will not happen. But here's what I would say to you. I actually think the opposite. I actually think that Trump is the only person in America that could become president and actually negotiate a deal with China. And I know that sounds, counterintuitive, but remember, only Nixon could go to China. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is that nobody would accuse Trump of being soft in China if he ended up negotiating a deal, whereas somebody like Biden, in my view, simply has zero domestic political space to eventually create a negotiated, deal, whatever that may be. So you might be surprised that, Trump could come in, first 12 months be very tough in China, but with the intention of ultimately producing what he would call a great deal.